Welcome back, college baseball fans, to another episode of ACC Central. We are starting our player interviews. We are once again joined by Gavin Gallaher for the second straight fall, the two-time Chapel Hill Regional Most Outstanding Player. Gavin, thanks so much for coming on again.
Of course, yeah. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We started off this way last year talking about the Chapel Hill Regional. We're going to do it again because you apparently love playing in a regional. You went 13 of 18 this year, three doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. So you're hitting over 500 in regionals with, I think, 11 extra base hits. What is it about that playoff atmosphere that really just kind of turns you into a monster?
Well, I've thought about it a lot. I haven't really come up with I don't think, a great answer for people when they ask. But there's just something about playing in front of our fans, knowing that, this is what you spent all season preparing for. This is what you spent all the time since August preparing for. Is to play in the postseason and fight your way to Omaha. Um, that's I've been working on trying to bring that to every game now because it is funny that once we get into the regional, it feels like it's a little different. But definitely something like that, playing in front of our fans, trying to fight to Omaha. Just the atmosphere is great, and it's kind of it's what I want to do.
Yeah, I was there for both the regional and super regional at times, and I was there for that last elimination game against Oklahoma. The winner decides all game, and you just get hits, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, it's just unbelievable. You didn't do too badly overall over the season. 325, 17 home runs. I think you played third base exclusively. Finally, I know as a freshman you played a little bit in left field when they were trying to get you out there, but you got off to a little bit of a slow start and made some adjustments. What was the key to kind of getting yourself out of that slow start? Because obviously, you still hit 325 with 31 extra base hits.
Yeah, well, I think what it really was is that I shaved at the beginning of the season. No, I came out with a full beard to start the year, went 0 for 14, and decided that, maybe it was time to try something new. But seriously, though, really just, you got to know that it's a long season. That's kind of the biggest thing that I took from my freshman year going into last season is that, sometimes things aren't going to go your way. And so I just kept putting in work, kept trusting my preparation. Treated every day like it was brand new day. Try not to hold on to things from the past, and eventually, it just started to click. So, just really focusing on the process, focusing on every day is a new day, just helped me kind of get back to where I knew I could be.
How difficult is that when you're in like that 0 for 14 stretch? Because you don't want to like baseball's a weird game because the harder you try and the more you press, the deeper hole you can dig. How hard is it because a lot of guys say you got to stick to the process, but it's difficult to do, right?
Oh yeah, no, it is definitely. Like you said, you want to perform. You want to be out on the field. If you're not performing, you're not going to be playing. So you want to be out on that field. So you do tend to try to push harder, try harder. You start to press a little bit. But that's what, separates big leaguers from everybody else is that they're so good mentally that, they can just kind of turn that off. And so that's really just what the focus comes down to, being intentional, things like that, showing up every single day with the same mindset is so important because everybody at this level is so talented and so gifted that you have to find something that separates you. And so that's what I've put a lot of time into. And I think that's something that really separates great players is that they are able to be so mentally tough.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up initially the shaving because the mustache looks great, man. A lot of people can't pull that off. I'm jealous. It looks fantastic, but you're saying that you kind of I know it's kind of joking, but baseball players are superstitious. You make that change and all the things start and go for you. You're gonna hold on to that, and then if you go through a slow streak, you're gonna have to shave it.
Well, I think I might, I was thinking about this a while ago. I think around January last year, I shaved for the first time and then let it grow back throughout the season. So I might just have to do something like that again as we get closer into the season. Just restart, clean slate. Um, but we'll see. You never know. It is, it's a little superstitious, but at the end of the day, I don't put too much into that. So, just gonna let whatever I feel like doing happen.
Yeah, I feel like not enough people talked about your mustache, considering how much college baseball fans are into that kind of thing. I know with like Griffin Hughes at Miami, we were calling him the mustache maniac. With Ben Miller's mustache at Duke,
Oh yeah.
I think yours just looks so natural and so normal that it's a good
Well,
looking
thank you. Yeah,
stash.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so you're going to be a junior, your third year starter. You're going to be kind of the leader, at least in terms of the position players, especially with Luke having been a draft eligible sophomore. He's kind of gone, and Madera's gone, and Stokely and Knapp and those guys. But how are you kind of transitioning into the being the big name, being the leader for this program heading into 2026?
I just say focusing on the team. Um, there's going to be there's always a lot of talk about individual players sometimes, but as long as we can keep the team at the center and keep the team at the focus, that's what we always talk about, and that's what brings so much success to our program throughout the years. Is just that guys are able to lose themselves for the team and buy into making the team great instead of just necessarily focusing on themselves and making themselves great. Um, and so, I feel like going into my third year, I feel like I have a lot of experience that I can share with new guys coming into the program. And so that's where I've tried to step up is, welcoming those guys into the program and, helping them out when they need help, kind of showing them how we do things, showing them our culture, and just working on not only leading by example, but also being a verbal leader when needed. Uh, and I think, I hope so at least. You can ask them, but I hope I've done a good job of that so far. And but yeah, I think the most important part is just keeping the team at the center, keeping the team focus. That's really what it comes down to once you get into May and June is like those teams that focus on the individual and those teams that aren't bought into the team and what they need to do as a team. They kind of fizzle out, and you can tell that the teams that are really united kind of come to the top when the postseason comes around.
Absolutely, and it's got to feel somewhat natural being a third year starter. It's almost kind of a natural transition. I'm sure it's not too much conscious thinking about it, right? Being a leader, you just kind of naturally kind of slide into that role.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Um, I've been fortunate throughout the past that I've had such great coaches. My dad's been my coach for a long time, and he's always preached the same thing that Coach Forbes preaches. So I've always, been coached that way and taught that way to be a leader. And so I think that I've been able to kind of take that experience, even at, a high school level or, a middle school level, whatever it was at the time, and kind of, just use that experience and use those skills to step into a role and, a bigger program.
Absolutely. Before we get into talking about this, the team specifically, the new version of the Tar Heels in 2026, you again went to the Cape. You played for a different team this year. Obviously, last year we talked about the murderers row you guys had for
Yeah.
YD at one point. This year you played for Chatham. Can you talk a little bit about your summer experience and the differences maybe in Chatham versus YD? Obviously, you get to meet a bunch of new people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it was an awesome summer. I had a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of new guys. A lot of big names like, I've known Henry Ford, but get to spend more time around him, Ethan Mendoza, Ashton Larson, Ace Reese, you got Roman, like you can go down the list and it's pretty unreal. Um, But yeah, it's just kind of like it's just similar to every summer experience where you're getting to know so many guys from different places, different backgrounds, and just kind of seeing how like that team comes together is really cool. Chatham was an awesome spot. Really enjoyed playing for uh, Cookie. Um, he didn't let us call him Coach Cook. Uh, didn't play for Cookie and Coach Powell, all of those guys. They were so great. Our assistant staff was great. Um, still keeping in touch with them every once in a while, just sending a text saying what's up. Uh, just really cool experience. And Chatham was an awesome spot. I had an amazing host family again. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That's all. I only have good things to say about my summer experience.
Yeah, I know. It looks like so much fun. I'm always jealous of, I'm much older, so I can't do it, but I'm always jealous of the interns who get to go up there for 6 weeks
Yeah.
and like, cover baseball every day. Like,
Hmm.
and, obviously if I was a baseball player, that's the dream too, so
Oh
it,
yeah.
it looks like it's just so much fun. I know it's like broken down to like pure gritty baseball too. You don't have all the facilities and resources
Oh
that you,
yeah.
you have, in Chapel Hill, but, um, you know, I wanted to mention too, like, well, I ask you, like, getting to meet all these people, does that, all these other players, obviously you're going to face them a lot of times in the spring. Does that make some of those matchups more fun because you have a personal, friendship and you can look forward to seeing them, but also look forward to beating them?
Yeah. No, of course. Last year I played, playing with a bunch of South Carolina guys at YD, and then we get to go play them in a midweek in Charlotte. Um, yeah, like you said, like I look forward to seeing those guys, catching up with them before the game. But then, it is like it also increases that like competitiveness. Um, you know, I've you just kind of think that you got in the back of your head that, I played with this guy, we beat them today. I got a little bit of bragging rights, things like that. And just kind of like adds another level on top of just wanting to win in general. But it's all fun, your boys before the game, during the game, you want to beat them, and then after the game, you guys are boys again. So it's a lot of fun, and just getting to catch up with those guys throughout the season after building relationships over the summer. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a perfect segue. I was going to wait a little bit later to talk some about transfers, but we got to talk about a new teammate that's also an old teammate.
Hmm.
Coming across the rivalry, the Duke UNC rivalry, Macon Winslow looks like he's going to be replacing Luke behind the dish. I honestly think Macon's going to have a huge year and put himself in conversation to be a first round draft pick because he's that good a catcher, and I think he's going to explode in his own as a hitter. But how exciting was that to see him kind of commit to kind of rejoin you, in Chapel Hill, and no worries,
Just got an Amber Alert, and it stole my AirPods.
no worries.
We're good.
What's it like to? Do you know where I cut out?
What's it like playing with
Make
Macon?
getting Macon back and seeing him commit. I mean, I don't know
Mhm.
how much you guys might have been conversing. I don't want to necessarily ask any of that, but
Yeah.
getting Macon, when you need a catcher, especially after losing the caliber of somebody like Luke Stevenson.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely huge. Catcher is such a hard position to fill. Especially, when you have a first round pick behind the plate for 2 years. Um, but yeah, I mean, heard the news about the head coach, and I just texted him and I said, just asked him how he was doing. Like, said I'd never expected that. But he's just like, yeah, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Like, obviously, I'm gonna enter the portal right now and just kind of see, where it's going. It's like, well, if you know, you don't want to go too far from home, so. But no, it's definitely very cool. We even lived together for a year in high school, and he was at Pro Five, and now back living together again this year. So it's definitely really cool. Kind of reconnect there. He's such a good player too, um, and that speaks for itself. But just really excited to have him and to kind of that old friendship can be teammates again. I think that's really special, and just looking forward to see him. get to perform as a teammate now instead of an opponent.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, I interviewed both you guys in the fall. Obviously, I was doing every program, and I talked with Macon for Duke, and he was my first interview. And I asked him, like, you and Gavin played in high school, right? He's like, yeah, we played together. We were, we were teammates. He kind of downplayed it, like, like he barely knew you. You guys were just kind of teammates. And then when I asked you later on in the fall, you were like, yeah, we were really close. We were roommates for a year. And I was like, okay, Macon just kind of downplaying the friendship there. I guess maybe the Duke UNC rivalry didn't want to
Yeah,
admit.
all right, probably it just got to him a little bit. He still had the Duke in him, so that's all right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So let's talk about the vibes coming into fall practice. Obviously, you guys had, for me, I thought you guys in Arkansas were destined to play for a national championship. You guys didn't quite make it to Omaha. Just that's sometimes the luck of the draw in the tournament. Arizona, very good team, red hot at the time, and just got the job done. But the vibes coming into fall practice, how are they? You guys got to feel pretty good with what you bring back, especially in the pitching department and what you guys have added in the transfer portal and the recruits.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're always feel confident. Our coaching staff does so good with not only developing who we already have, preparing for future teams, but also just going into that transfer portal and getting new guys to kind of reload. So I mean, vibes are definitely good. We feel great. It's always awesome to be back on field. I think we're through 6 scrimmages now. Um, and I mean, this is a team that looks just as good as any since I've been here. Um, but you mentioned Arizona in last year, and we do focus on the process, of course. But coming back to the into the fall after how the season ended last year, definitely have a bit of a chip on the shoulder. Um, losing in Omaha in 2024 hurt, but there was nothing worse than losing at our own field in a super. It was different. So it's kind of we talked about it a little bit. It's like if you ever have a day where something's going on, you don't feel great, you don't feel your best. Well, there's something to think about to get you going a little bit, because that'll do it for you. But I tell you what, like I said, this team looks great. It's as good as any team I've seen since I've been here, and really excited. I think we have a scrimmage coming up on like the 3rd or something, and
Yep.
oh yeah, I'm really excited to see our guys, against some other competition, because we've got such a good team, and pitching and hitting has looked really good against each other. So
Yeah, I'm really excited about some of the new faces. Obviously, I got to see a little bit of Jake Schaffner when I would watch Cape Cod games. Eric Paulson had a very short stint in the Cape, so I didn't see much of him, but there's a lot of excitement about him. With some of the new faces, hopefully a full healthy year from Sawyer Black. Perry Hargett taking steps forward, Lee Sowers. Who has impressed you so far? I'm sure they've all looked really good, but is anyone really standing out that has surprised you with how much they've kind of developed between last year and this year, or new faces that have really impressed you?
yeah, I mean, Sawyer Black, I think he's put on about 20 pounds now since last spring, which is insane. But yeah, he's looked really good in right field, and he swung it well. Cameron Seagraves has been really good on the mound. A lot of strikes, throwing multiple pitches for strikes. So that's always great. He's going to be such a good arm. You have Lynch, you have McDuffie, DeCaro, all those guys that are going to be great. I tell you, one of the new guy that's impressed me a lot is Cooper Nicholson. He's hit some of the hardest and furthest baseballs I've ever seen in person so far. But every new guy that we've brought in, like Owen Hull, has been super consistent. He just flat out hits, really good in center field. Jake Schaffner, like really good top of the order bat, really good in the field on defense. we have a couple new freshmen that I think are really good, a couple new arms that are really good. Um, it's just I see a lot of depth on the roster, and I think it's really going to be a fight to see who that starting nine is.
Yeah, it's funny. I was starting to put together kind of rosters so I can start to try and guess at some projected lineups, and I was like, "Ooh,
Mhm.
Carolina's going to be tough to kind of figure out." They do have some depth there, and we know that Coach Forbes is not afraid to play freshmen. We saw, I mean, Lynch and McDuffie, kind of out of nowhere from
Oh
the
yeah,
start of the season, where when we expected some other guys. So that's really exciting stuff. Who on the team do you think like maybe has the best chance to have a breakout year in the spring?
let's see. Um, I think I give you three arms.
Love it.
I think Olin Johnson, Boston Flannery, and Cameron Seagraves are all
Love that.
really going to show what they can do. They haven't necessarily had the roles that they've wanted so far, but they've bought in so much into the team, and you can tell how hard they're working. And through our first couple scrimmages, they've been three of our best arms. I think those guys are going to be really, really good. And then from the plate, I think Perry Hargett is just a baseball player, like all around. He does everything hard. Um, Sawyer Black I think he's really going to hit. Um, and then like I can just go down the list of everybody. I can see
Yeah.
everybody having a breakout year, really.
That's
Um,
yeah, that's what's tricky is when I started doing an article on who I think is going to break out. It's like, man, it's
yeah.
easy to see a lot of different guys.
Oh yeah, I think like all they need is a chance. That's what I've seen the most, especially last year with a bunch of those guys, is that when they got their chance, they took advantage of it. And so I think you just give these guys a chance, and it's going to be tough to keep them out of the lineup.
Absolutely. One of my favorite stories, Carter French, is somebody who
Oh
kind of
yeah.
had a breakout year last year, finally got a starting role, got to show off the defense, looked a lot like really comfortable in the postseason at the
Hmm.
plate, a lot more so than he had earlier. So he's going to be in the conversation as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's a lot of fun. That's what's so great about the fall, trying to figure that out. And you guys sounds like you guys are gelling really well. Is there anything in particular that you yourself is looking to improve here in the fall? What you're working on?
Yeah, I'd say just my defense in general. It's where I've put just a lot of my effort, a lot of my focus into. Um, I've kind of like during the fall. So the fall is super important for multiple things, obviously, but the biggest is really defense. Making sure that the team as a whole is really working to play at a high level. Because if you can't defend at a high level, then you don't have a chance of winning a national championship. Um, so I think that's the most important thing, and that's just what I've put a lot of my time and effort into. During scrimmages and stuff, obviously, I'll never give away an at bat, but I've just tried to really focus on once my at bat's over, now I'm in the field and just really separating the two. Um, I've in the past have gotten caught up sometimes with bringing bad at bats into the field, and it'll turn over into my defense. But that's what just trying to separate the two, focus every pitch on defense. To my highest level, because I think that's where I need to improve the most. And that's right now, that's what will help me the most going into the spring.
Are you just playing mostly at third, or are you moving around a little bit here in the fall?
So far this fall, I've been playing in the middle.
Okay.
So me and uh, Jake Schaffner, AJ Terry, Lee Sowers, we've all been moving around the middle, and then um, some of those guys a little bit in the corners too. But um, yeah, I've been spending all of my time in the middle infield.
Okay, yeah, I knew you came out of high school as a natural shortstop, so just curious about that. I know with Madera defensively, it's having him at shortstop, it
Oh yeah.
makes that hard to move along, but really exciting for you, obviously moving around, and that creates more versatility for you guys as a whole, with that depth. Let's get into some fun stuff. We did this kind of last year, but obviously you got a new guys, so We're gonna do some kind of quick hitters, but who's the
Okay.
team? Who's the team class clown?
Class clown. I'd say the team funny guy is Lee Sowers. He's always
Yeah.
got a joke. He's always knows how to make people laugh. He's really really good for the locker room.
I'm a big Lee Sowers guy just because he's from the Richmond area, which is
Oh
where
yeah.
I live. um, the who's the glue guy? Who's the vibes guy that's holding the team together, kind of?
Ooh. I'd have to give it to one of the pitchers. Probably like an Olin Johnson. Um, or maybe even like a Sawyer Black. Just kind of like, chill, but always there and just hanging out, doing something fun.
All right, here's one. Who's the team nerd?
uh, huh. Let's see. I'll give you book. The book nerd is Perry Hargett.
Love that.
Yeah, he's always in the classroom, but it pays off for him. He's probably has the best GPA on the team. Um, just kind of like in general is Ryan Lynch, which is funny.
That is
He's always working on a project of some sort. I actually live with him as well, and what was it, 2 days ago? Just walks in the front door with a bunch of like wooden boards, getting ready to build something. Um, but yeah, he's funny. He's always up to something.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about covering this sport is how much the academics and it plays a factor, because you guys are going to class, you guys
Mhm.
are having to balance that with the potential of especially in your case being an MLB draft high MLB draft pick. It's just really fun to kind of think about that, because it's like, oh, I got to go to class, but I might be in a couple months be first round draft pick. It's always fun to kind of think about that. Um, how about best dressed? Who's got the best fashion sense?
Ooh, I haven't been able to really see it. I'd say from what I can remember from last year, I'll give it to Boston.
There you
Boston
go.
Flannery. He's got a good wardrobe.
All right, what's the go-to local food staple?
Hmm. I'd say either Monterey or if you want to stay on Franklin Street, then Sup Dogs. Is those are my two favorite.
Perfect. Writing them down since
Oh
I'll be
yeah.
in Chapel Hill plenty, I'm sure. Who was the toughest pitcher you faced in the conference last year?
Uh, I remember Patrick Forbes was tough from Louisville. Wes Mendez from FSU was really good, and I think it was one of FSU's relievers. It was either Prescott or Charles. Um, but those guys had Prescott and Charles both very similar, just really good fastball with a good slider. So those are tough. Um, of course, you got Jamie Arnold, Kyson Witherspoon. Uh, those guys were good at bats. Um, you could find a lot in the ACC.
Absolutely. I like this question more this year because there's going to be a little bit more variety, because last year it was just like universally Chase Burns.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so,
No, that's true.
so we're getting a little bit more variety this year. So love to hear the Forbes one. I know he's got a underrated fastball and obviously got rewarded for that. What's your game day routine kind of like?
Ooh, okay. Well, um, I guess it depends really on, time and day. If
Right.
it's a Friday, if it's a Tuesday or a Friday, obviously going to class first in the morning. Um, but I guess once we get to the field, it's just team meal and then get ready on field, stretch, BP, locker room. We're either playing a game as a team, doing something, hanging out, or just like laying on the couch, closing my eyes. Um, and then when we get back out there, it'll just get loose again. And then I get my two pieces of gum, sprints, team meeting, and then I think that's about it. I think those are the important things for
Love
me.
that.
Is to I don't really have anything too weird or too crazy, but there's a couple little things that I do every game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you figured out your choices for walk up music this year?
Oh, not yet. I've been thinking about keeping it. I really like Suavemente, but I've never kept the same walk-up song for back-to-back years.
Right.
So I tell you, I have a notes app, or I have a notes page that's got probably 50 different songs.
Love that.
So we'll once we get closer to the season, I'll go down the list, eliminate some, narrow it down. Uh, but I wouldn't be against keeping it this year.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about UNC social media, what they did last year is the music was a big part of, what they were, when they would show lineups or even, stuff like that. So love that. Got two more for you. What's your favorite MLB players to emulate or watch, even if you're not emulating them?
Yeah. I'd say one is Dansby Swanson. Just for a long time now, he's, obviously shortstop. I always wanted to be like him, play shortstop, but I also feel like we're similar profiles. And then, I'd like to say Mookie Betts. I don't know if I'm quite as athletic as Mookie Betts is, but I really like to watch him play, just because he's similar utility guy, kind of does everything on the field, and just a good like reliable, consistent hitter.
All right, last one. Favorite ACC ballpark besides your own? Obviously, you've got a pretty special one at home.
Oh yeah. So I'd say up there is Virginia, but it would have to be Virginia in like April. I
Yeah.
can't. It's way too cold. I remember freshman year playing up there. I think it was March. It was miserable, just freezing cold. So that also eliminates everybody else up north,
Yep.
past Virginia. I tell you, FSU is really cool. I haven't been to Clemson yet, but I know that place is really cool. I honestly don't know what Stanford or Cal looks like.
That's right. You guys got lucky last year. You guys didn't have to go out west.
That might be my fault, but I guess I'll have to say the next nicest is Virginia, and then maybe Clemson. But that hurts me a little bit to say.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, that's going to do it for us. Do you have anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to say?
I think I'm all good. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Gavin, so much for coming on. We're going to be back in a couple of days. Our next interview will be with Boston College's AJ Colarusso. But until then, go Tar Heels.
Awesome. Go Heels.